Hi, Future Heather. Today I will be teaching you how to play the saxophone. The main things that I'm going to hit are saxophone assembly, playing posture, embouchure formation, articulation, and tone production. All of these things are very, very important when playing the saxophone and, well, when you're teaching it to your kids. So the first thing that I'm going to teach is saxophone assembly. So this is very, very important because if you assemble the saxophone the wrong way, this can lead to bending of beams, keys, all of which can make you have to send the saxophone to the shop, which means like repair money and having to repair it and not a lot of fun stuff. So first thing that I like to do is I like to put the neck strap on and just adjust it. You're going to have to readjust it once you put the saxophone on the neck strap, but I just put it up just from the start. The next thing that I like to do is take the reed. This is a number 3 reed. Most of your kids, meaning like elementary school kids, will probably start off on a 2, maybe 1.5 in some cases. This is a number 3 reed. You're gonna put it in your mouth. And while you're putting it in your mouth, to get it wet, so you want the reed to be wet so that it vibrates. If the reed's not wet, it won't vibrate and it'll be kind of weird. So, wet the reed, put the reed on the table of the mouthpiece. So, this is the table. You're going to put the reed on the table of the mouthpiece. So when you are putting the reed on the mouthpiece, you want to make sure that it's straight and that the tip of the reed is aligned with the tip of the mouthpiece. So you don't want it to be over the mouthpiece, but you don't want it to be under the tip either. So once it's to your liking, once it's nice and straight and the tip is where you want it, you're going to put the ligature around the mouthpiece, and most likely you'll have to readjust it because when you put the ligature on, it can move the way you want it. And you screw the ligature on it, tighten it, so the ligature is, or the reed is, won't move. Next, you're gonna take the neck of the instrument. Most cases, not most cases, sometimes, you will have to put cork grease on the cork of the neck. Just because it sometimes can get a little stiff and get very, very hard for you to put the mouthpiece on the neck. Right now I'm not going to have to do that because I just did that a few days ago. So I'm going to put the mouthpiece on the neck where the cork is, and it should look like this, pretty much. And next I'm going to pick up the body of the saxophone. Now keep in mind, this is the last thing that I picked up out of the case. This is because the body of the instrument is the most expensive part of the instrument, because it's where all the keys and the beams and everything are, and if one of these gets bent or messed up, you will have to take it to the repair shop and get it fixed. And also keep in mind, when I picked it up out of the case, I grabbed it by the bell of the instrument because there's no keys, there's no beams around here, so it's safe for me to pick it up by the bell. So you're going to take the body of the instrument and the neck, and you're going to place the neck on the body of the instrument. So you're going to want this to be straight. So here's the octave key, and here's this little line right here. You're going to want it to be straight. I don't know if you can see that, but you're going to want this to be straight and aligned with the body. And once it's straight and even, you're going to take the screw right here and you're going to screw it so it's tightened. And once it's tightened, you're going to place the neck strap on the mouth, or on the body, wow. And like I said before, you're going to have to readjust it so that you want the mouthpiece to be just you can just easily place it in your mouth. You don't want it to be so tight that it's jabbing you in the mouth, and you also don't want it to be so loose that you have to bring your head to the mouthpiece. This will cut off air in your throat and make it really hard to play. So once it's ready to go, it's even. Also, what I just did was straighten the mouthpiece so that it's even with my mouth. So if I were to keep it the way it was, my head would be tilted like this, and it would cut off my air. So straight, even, with the mouth. And I am also someone that I place the saxophone on my side. There are people who place it in between their legs. I'm someone who places it on my side. So when I put the instrument on my neck strap, I have to readjust the mouthpiece so it's straight and even with my mouth. So next is the saxophone playing posture. The posture in which you perform the saxophone can affect your tone quality, technique, and your ability to perform the saxophone to your fullest capability. To have great posture while performing, to be sure to stand or sit straight up, but also relaxed. So it doesn't matter if you're sitting, it doesn't matter if you're standing. You need to make sure you're sitting or standing straight. You don't want to be so straight that your back is all strained, and you don't want to hurt yourself when your muscles in your back. You also just don't want to be slouching like this, because this can cut off your air, make your tone sound really crappy, and it's not going to be that great. So you don't want this, you don't want this. You want just normal, straight back. Also make sure you're not sitting all the way back in your chair, because this can lead to bad habits. This can lead to slouching, because you get really tired when you're playing. So make sure you're sitting in the right spot of the chair, your back is straight, no slouching, no straining your back. Make sure you're just sitting up straight. If you're slouching, also this can cause you to go flat. So make sure this can cause your tone quality to go flat. This will make you sound also not that great when performing. Also keep both feet flat on the floor. So you do not want to be having your feet straight out. You don't want to have you don't want your feet to dangle. You don't want any of that, because this can affect your playing. While performing, be sure to put the music stand so that you are looking straight ahead, so you can read the music with either eye. So the reason why the position of the music stand affects your playing posture is because if the music stand is too high, it will cause your head to go up, and then it'll cause your air to get cut off at your throat. And if the music stand is too low, this can cause your head to tilt down, which this can also cut off the air in your throat. So you want it to be perfect, aligned with your eye, and it's easy to look at with either eye. Next, you should adjust the neck strap so it supports the weight of the instrument. So you want it to be able to support the weight of the instrument. You don't want it to drag you down. Finally, hold the instrument onto your side or your front. Hold your saxophone. How you hold the saxophone can depend on the size of the instrument against your body and arms. So if you are a small person, you might prefer to the side or the front, or if you're a larger person, you'll prefer the side or front. It's personal preference. It's how comfortable you are holding the instrument. Next is embouchure formation. So to form a great embouchure, you only have to remember 6 things: place, anchor, inhale, set, and release. So step 1 is to place your mouthpiece into your mouth. So you're just going to place it into your mouth. Step 2 is to anchor your upper teeth on the top of your mouthpiece. Step 3 is to drop your jaw down and whisper the syllable ah. This brings the lower lip above the bottom teeth. Step 4 is to inhale, take a deep breath through your mouth. Step 5 is to create the syllable O. This brings your mouth corners and lower lip inward, which makes a firm seal around your mouthpiece. So steps are place, anchor your top teeth or your upper teeth. ah, inhale, set, and release. The important thing to remember about this step is to not move. So if you move, your embouchure will get all messed up and you will have to start completely over. And if you don't, the tone quality will be all funky and it will affect your performance. The final step for a great embouchure is to release the air through your saxophone to produce a tone. That's it. These are the 6 steps for a great embouchure. Place, anchor, inhale, set, and release. These are very simple steps. So once again, just to sum up, place the mouthpiece into your mouth. Anchor your upper teeth. So drop your jaw. Inhale, set, release. And that's embouchure formation. Next is articulation. To articulate your music precisely on the saxophone, there are 5 steps. Inhale, set, tongue, air, and release. Basically, just like embouchure, you'll notice that I will reference embouchure formation again. Step 1, inhale. Take a deep breath through your mouth. Step 2, form an O shape with your mouth. This will bring your corners of your mouth and lower lip inward to create a firm seal around the mouthpiece. So very similar to embouchure formation. Again, just like creating an embouchure, don't move or you'll ruin your articulations. So just make sure that when you perform your saxophone, don't make any abrupt movements or any abrupt changes to your embouchure. Otherwise, it will still affect your tone and your articulation. Step 3 is to place your tongue lightly on the tip of the reed, tip of the tongue. So basically what I mean by this is tip of the tongue, tip of the reed. So you tip your tongue on the tip of the reed. So this will allow you to have great articulations and be precise. Step 4 is to bring air pressure to the front of your mouth. Step 5 is to release your tongue from the reed and let the air start the tone. To sum up, the 5 steps for precise articulation are inhale, set, tongue, air, and release. So, just to show, you're going to want to inhale, set the embouchure, the tongue on the tip of the reed, and release, or air and release. There we go. Last thing is tone production. In order to have a great and beautiful tone on saxophone, you must support the air through your phrases. If you do not do this, your sound will either go flat or it'll go sharp. This will affect your performance. While performing support air with your diaphragm and your chest. So make sure it's even, make sure it's not all your chest, make sure it's not all your diaphragm, make sure it's even throughout. This will allow you to have a great tone. Also make sure that your embouchure is firm and don't move or lose your tone. This is how you create a great tone on the saxophone. So just even air, make sure you have your air support with your diaphragm, your chest. All of these things will create a great tone on the saxophone. That's pretty much it. Those are the things that I needed to cover.